going to throw together creamy Italian sausage soup. And it starts out with, obviously, some sausage. Just gonna brown it up in a soup pot. I have a lot of soup recipes to share. I scoured Pinterest for some of the best ones. I know I've shared a lot with you in the past. So I'll link some of those videos below because honestly, they're hard to beat. But this week is sure to impress because I found some bangers. I'm just gonna break the sausage up a little bit and let that brown while I work on chopping up some of the vegetables. So I just have a few stalks of celery. I'm just gonna dice those up. I like really small pieces of celery because I find that my kids are more inclined to not eat around them, you know? Gonna continue the mise en place with an onion. I'm going to dice this up as well. I'm not sure if the recipe calls for half an onion. Yeah, it does. I don't care. It also called for less celery than what I chopped up. I just always like to add extra vegetables. It adds flavor. It doesn't hurt anyone. All those great nutrients in there. Hold on. There's a layer of onion that is perfectly fine. I've had plenty of sausage soups in the past, but none of them have been creamy. And you know what? They said to brown this meat for 10 minutes. I think they're crazy. It's gonna cook up in like 2.5. I start the meat in a cold pan. That way most of the fat renders out that way. Good to go. And then last thing to dice up, a few cloves of garlic. I go above and beyond on this as well. And the best way, in my opinion, to release the garlic cloves is to chop off the root and then the cloves kind of just fall apart from here. And so I'll take like 5 or 6, maybe 7 or 8. What can I say? I am just a fan of flavor. So I take the garlic clove and just smush it. That way the peel kind of just falls off of it. Really easy. It is a little bit time consuming to do the garlic, but I find fresh just offers so much more flavor than the powdered stuff. But I get it, like if you're in a rush or you need it for convenience, been there. And honestly, this sausage has so much flavor in it too. I'm not saying fresh garlic is necessary, but what I am saying is a lot of people compliment me on my cooking. Oh my gosh, what did you put in here? Garlic. That's what I put in. That's what I added. Garlic. Once the meat is cooked, I'm going to reserve it on the side. I'm using a slotted spoon to try to keep all of the oil in the pan, which honestly wasn't much, so I am going to throw in a half a stick of butter, so a 1/4 cup, let that melt. Once that's melted, I'm going to throw in the veggies, the celery and the onion, and already this alone smells so amazing. I'm just going to season it a little bit with salt and pepper and let this cook out for a couple minutes. While the veggies are cooking, I almost forgot I have to peel and dice some potatoes. I just have 4 pretty small looking potatoes. Perfect timing, the veggies are nice and soft. So I'm going to add in the diced up garlic and let this cook out for a minute until it's nice and fragrant. And then I'm going to throw in a heaping 1/3 cup of flour. This is the roux. This is what's gonna make it nice and thick and creamy soup. Just gonna let that cook out for like 30 seconds. And then I'm going to mix in 4 cups of chicken stock. I should have done my homemade stuff. I don't know why I'm not. It's too late. I already cracked this one open. Next time I make it, I'll use my homemade stuff. But I'm going to toss this in, mixing as I go, making a whole dang mess everywhere. And a whole box like this is 4 cups. A can is 2 cups. Nice. I'm gonna add some flavor to the soup, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce right there. It gives it a nice depth of flavor. Some red pepper flakes. I'm gonna go a little bit shy. We can always add these on the back end too when we're serving. And the sausage has a little bit of heat, and you know, I got kids and stuff. I'm going to put in 2 cups of half and half. It's creamy already. I'm gonna toss the potatoes in and just let all of this cook until the potatoes are fork tender. I am gonna add a little bit more salt and pepper here. And I'm gonna throw the sausage back in too, of course. It's looking creamy and dreamy. Cover it up. I mean, 'tis the season. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Bring it to a boil and I'm gonna simmer it until the potatoes are cooked, about 15 minutes or so. Here it is complete. And oh, it smells amazing. It looks amazing. This is so cozy. I'm ready for fall. If Mother Nature could just get in line, that would be great. This is exactly everything I want in a soup. It's cozy, it's delicious, it's warming. Even when it's 95 degrees outside, I was like, slop me up another bowl, okay? And I need to tell you something about soups. What
I enjoy out of a soup is a nice hearty soup. I don't want to be sitting there sipping on broth. I need to have all of those textures, have something to sustain my body. I want to eat a soup and feel full, whether that takes 1 helping or 3 if I can't control myself 4. The parsley on top was overkill. Don't do that. It was a mistake and completely unnecessary because I think it looked just beautiful without the extra greenery in there. This celery was enough of a pop, okay? If you want to add peas, I feel like that would be a great addition too. Or really, honestly, you can add anything you want to any recipe. Use it as a guideline, but this soup was one of my favorites of the week. It was absolutely delicious. And also different than the other sausage soups that I've made in the past. So there's that. Try it out.
You know how to make dinner time exciting? Get some new recipes, some really great new recipes like this one, the tomato macaroni soup. It starts out like any good soup does with some veggies. I have a couple of carrots I'm going to shred up, an onion, some garlic, and some other stuff happening over there. This recipe is from Macro-Friendly Foods, so I know it's going to be not only delicious and easy to throw together, but also a little on the healthy side. You don't even want to know how long it took me to find this little doohickey. I thought it was lost. I also believe that I am one of the only people on the planet to have trouble with my onion dunked in water. It'll be fine, I gotta cut it up anyway. But every time I do this, oh now it's gonna cooperate. Is this a joke? I'm using the fine shredder. I guess I should get something to put it in. Normally when I connect it, normally when I connect it to my countertop, it slops around all over the place. Now I only need a cup of carrots, so it should only be a couple of carrots. Okay, I get it. This thing is fast, efficient, and fun. That's a way more than a cup, but couldn't stop myself. And I actually like to add a little bit more veggies than it calls for anyway. So this is actually the perfect amount. Now I just have a carrot peeled and ready to eat, like a Bugs Bunny. I don't know why, but whenever I say the name of this song, what pops into my head is the Macarena. I know exactly 0 words of that song, but I know the entire dance. Should we do it together? All right, next time. Just kidding. 1 maca, 2 maca, 3 macarena. You can continue the party. I am going to dice up an onion. When I was gathering the ingredients for this recipe, I did realize that I'm missing a crucial ingredient. Yeah, the crushed tomatoes. I guess I forgot to put that on my grocery list. And so in lieu of that, I'm just gonna use what I have on hand and it's gonna be just fine. So I'm gonna take my veggies and head to the stovetop where I'm going to throw in 2 pounds of ground beef. It's actually precisely 1.10 pounds. I'm gonna brown this up at the same time throwing in my vegetables. Love cooking everything together. It saves time. And well, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna season this with some salt and pepper and get everything mixed in here. While that cooks up behind me, I'm going to cut up some garlic, mince it up. Takes a little bit more time, but I'll be done before all the veggies are cooked down. So it kind of works out. Once everything's all cooked, I'm going to add about ½ a cup of garlic. Let that cook down for about a minute. And then I'm going to add 6 cups of beef broth in here. I'm gonna try to get away with 4. I'll see how it works out. Because instead of crushed tomatoes, which you're supposed to add 2 huge cans of, I instead have this spaghetti sauce, which don't worry, is barely seasoned anyway. But I'm worried that it might be a little bit too liquidy. Don't ding that around. 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Make a smiley face for fun. Oh my gosh, Avelina, you're hilarious. Ding, 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 ding. Half a cup of ketchup, which things are getting a little weird here. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And then it calls for steak sauce. I don't know, you got, do you eat barbecue with your steak? I don't have A1, I don't have, clearly I thought I made an extensive grocery list, but apparently I did not. So I'm just going with sweet old baby Race. Also gonna throw in 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and then a little bit of Italian seasoning right in there, add some flavor. With some salt and pepper. You definitely want it to be seasoned. I'm gonna let this come to a bubble and let it, you know, simmer for about 10 minutes. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Hey, once it's bubbling for a while, I'm going to add some hey macaroni. As a cross between macaroni and macarena. Forever, what I will call macaroni. And let this cook, okay? I did end up adding some more beef broth in there. I cracked it open. I just, you know, I was like, if I'm gonna add it, I might as well add it now so it could all come to a bubble together so it cooks, you know, rather quickly. The macaroni will cook, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. So it still is a fairly quick, easy dinner. I'm gonna cover it up. Feeling the fall vibes with all that steam. The best thing about macro-friendly foods is her dinners are always so hearty. Oh, I literally just took this off of the stove, so it's still super steamy. But dinner is ready. Dinner is ready. Bon appetit. It looks so good and so filling. I'm gonna serve it up and let you know how it was.
Speaking of a hearty soup, I can always count on macro-friendly foods to have something that is filling. This made so much. So if you're worried, like if you're having a party, I mean, serve this up. It was absolutely fantastic. Great flavor. We had a couple people in and out of our house this night, as we do. And so, you know, they were tasting the soup. Rave reviews. So if you're wondering if it hits all the points, the carrot, I couldn't even taste the carrots. I'm someone who takes carrots out of the gnocchi soup that Olive Garden has, you know, when I make it on my own. I don't add it because I'm like, ugh. But in this soup, you can't even taste them. You don't even really know they're there. It's just a fantastic addition of a vegetable. Sneak it in. We always got to sneak it in, right? But it does add a niceness to the dish. And this is one of the kids' favorites. Of course, they always like anything with noodles is a hit for them. And again, Rachel Ray coining her phrase, more of a stoop because of how thick it is. Really great. Today I'm throwing together a Crockpot meal. It's about that time. And so I browned up some ground beef on my stovetop. I'm just gonna dump that in. Oh, what am I making, you ask? I'm like so ready for dinner. Crockpot cheeseburger soup is what. It starts off with some ground beef in the crock pot. It's perfect for when you know you have a busy day ahead, which I feel like isn't every day like that. And it's just great to throw it together when you have a little bit of time in the morning and let it cook. And when you get home, time to eat or good to go. Although there are a couple of things you have to throw in here right before it's ready to serve, but I feel like we'll do that and then like set the table and get everything ready. Do you know what I mean? So it's actually perfect. Next up are some potatoes, and it calls for 2 large. Yeah, mine are itty bitty, so I'm using 4. Where's my peeler? I know, at one point I had like 17, oh, there it is, there it is. You gotta get the good one, you know? That's one thing they didn't tell you when you became an adult. There'd be like preferred utensils in the kitchen, for sure. A wooden spoon, I know you have a favorite one. Spatula, got it. 17 other ones in there, but that is my favorite. Burner on the stovetop, you know what's there. Anyway, I'm gonna peel the potatoes and dice them up. If you need a shortcut with the potatoes as well, there is a brand called Simply Potatoes. They sell them in the refrigerated section, kind of like by the cheeses is where I find them. Always at the top, and they sell diced tomatoes. Potatoes is what I'm talking about. And so if you need it for the convenience or time benefit, grab a bag of those and I feel like you'd be good to go. Sometimes I use those when I'm making a bunch of breakfasts. So these are good to go. I'm gonna dump these right in, and this just makes everyone happy, meat and potatoes, right? And actually I wasn't too far off because it does call for a can of petite diced tomatoes. And I always get some that are seasoned. I just feel like it adds a little bit more flavor, and they're never, oh, stewed? What? I'm not gonna do that. I probably will. Dang it. Oh. Is that what I bought for real? Here's the petite diced. I thought I got 2 cans of this to be extra prepared. Apparently, like, these look so similar, except for the word. Should I leave it? I'm just gonna leave it. Like, what am I gonna do? Throw away tomatoes? You know what I will do? Just go in here with a little knife
and, you know, dice up the tomatoes myself. This is actually a proper culinary technique I learned in cordon bleu. It's called, oops, I forgot to cut that. All right, it's actually going to be perfect, so good. You know what's going in next? Some seasonings. So some dried basil, or I have Italian seasoning. I just feel like this has above and beyond. And also these are seasoned with basil, garlic, and oregano. I'm gonna throw a little bit of salt and pepper in here. And 3 cups of chicken broth. I'll probably do the whole canister because if I don't, the rest of the carton, the 1 cup left, it's just gonna rot away in there, okay? Oh my goodness, am I supposed to add an onion? What time is it? Because seriously, I need to get my life together. No big deal, don't worry, nothing is cooked yet. I know what's wrong, I'm like semi in a rush, thinking, oh, I have to leave, and okay, gonna dice up an onion. Okay, good enough. Throw that in. And for now, that's it. I'm just gonna try to get everything under the broth here. Cover it up low and slow. If I could find the lid, that'd be great. Okay, I'll see you in a few hours. This has been going all day. I haven't checked the potatoes. Actual perfection. They say like an hour before it's done, just cut the cream cheese up, a whole block of it, and dump that in. It's gonna do little dollops so it melts a little bit easier. And then I have this shredded cheese. I'm just gonna dump this in. It calls for a pound. That probably wasn't enough, but it's good enough. I'm just gonna mix it in. Another home run hit. I personally wasn't a fan of the tomatoes, but that's just me, okay? Demi Lovato style. That's just me. La La Land, anyone? Okay, never mind. The cream cheese, I had trouble getting it to melt. I left it in there for quite a while. I was like smushing it down. So it does kind of look like it's separated a little bit, but it was delicious nonetheless. The kids went in for seconds, and I think that says a lot just on its own. Of course, we had more people trying it out. They said that this was fantastic. They had seconds of this. So much more to go around. I garnished it with a little green onion. I really think that adds a brightness to the dish. And I gotta get it just right there for the picture. I really enjoyed it. Add fresh herbs to anything and it's gonna elevate it, and that's exactly how I feel about this one. I would make it again. I maybe would try like a Boursin cheese, one that melts a little easier, or have it like mixed up before I add it. You know? Other than that, it was great. We meet again. See what I'm saying about this thing? Slips and slides all over the place. Hey, it's dinner time. And for tonight, I'm going to make chicken enchilada soup, which calls for precisely 2 ounces of shredded cheese. So I don't know how many cups that is. Oh, wait. Actually, the perfect amount. This is 2 ounces, if you're wondering. That's like a personal serving. Is this for garnish? Anyway, it starts out, there's still over 2 ounces in here. Just a couple of things to chop and drop. I've got an onion and a jalapeno, and that's it. And everything else is just like a dump. And wouldn't you know it, as I was gathering all of the ingredients, I thought I had everything that I needed. But you see, this is what happens when you don't make an extensive grocery list. Yeah. I don't have corn, and I thought I always like to have yogurt. I don't have any plain Greek yogurt, and this is another macro-friendly foods recipe. You guys know I love her recipes. It is a subscription service. They're just like, you know, higher in protein, better for you, and all that good stuff, but still really delicious and uses simple ingredients. And the way I'm able to still make it while not getting everything on my grocery list is because most of the ingredients are things that I already have on hand. So it starts out with dicing 1 onion, 1 jalapeno. I'm just going to cut this down the center and then seed out the middle. I'm just gonna take a little melon baller. Like, you know, if I was making this just for adults, I would leave all of the seeds in because it's a pretty substantial size soup and I don't think it would give it that much heat. I am gonna take the jalapeno and dice this up too. I've made a lot of taco soups in the past. This one is slightly different. It's enchiladas. Let's bring it to the stove. I'm gonna start out by melting some butter. Once that's melted, I'm going to add the onion and the jalapeno and cook this out until it's softened, just a few minutes. And you know me, I'm gonna season every layer, so just a little bit of salt and pepper here. Look at those knife cuts, everybody. Are you jealous or what? I gotta deal with that. I also forgot / didn't read that I need some garlic cloves. So I'm gonna smash a few cloves up real quick. You know, it's just gonna give me something to do while I'm waiting. I'll do like that many cloves, but you know I wanna do more. Perfect timing. These are nice and softened and fragrant, so I'm gonna add the 1/4 cup of garlic that I just minced up and let that heat up for about a minute until it's fragrant. In the meantime, I'm gonna drain my beans. And to the pot, I'm going to add 1 can of red enchilada sauce, 1 can of diced tomatoes with green chilies, and 1 can of drained black beans. You also need 1 can of corn drained, but you know what happens when you don't make an extensive grocery list. I'm also gonna throw in my homemade chicken broth. And someone told me to get the lid off. It's as easy as 1, 2. Okay, well, it's a little easier said than done. I'll tell you that much. This thing won't grip onto it. It's too thick of a lid. Oh! Did you hear that? That was amazing. It went shoo. Yeah. Smells okay. Like, am I gonna die? We're taking a chance today, kids. 4 cups of the homemade chicken stock. I'm pretty proud of myself, okay? It's a big deal. I'm going to season it with a little bit of chili powder. This is, I don't know why I ever not twist the lid off. It's ridiculous. Just a little splash of that. A little onion powder coming in here. Cumin for that smokiness. I need more. Such a great flavor profile here. And, did I already put this in? Some ground mustard. A little bit more won't hurt if I did. Mix that in, and I'm gonna let that come to a simmer. Once it comes to a bubble, I'm just gonna let it simmer for about 10 minutes. Once it's simmered down a little bit, I'm going to add in 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt. And this is actually vanilla Greek yogurt because I didn't make an extensive grocery list. It'll be fine, it'll be fine. It's gonna pack a little punch of protein in there. And then I have some Boursin cheese. This is shallot and chive. It actually calls for a cheese I can't pronounce. Nerfuffle? Nerfuchalatil. Neufchâtel. And so if you want the equivalent, it's like cream cheese, but that one must be like lower in fat or something. I don't really know. 4 ounces, but instead I have some of this and I just figured I might as well use it up. It's probably my least favorite flavor if I'm just eating it with crackers. It's the shallot and chive, but I think it'll give a really nice flavor in here. And it's a little bit softer, so I think it will melt better than cream cheese because we all saw the cheeseburger soup catastrophe. It actually wasn't that bad. Oh yeah, that smells real good. I'm just gonna break the cheese up a little bit so it melts a little easier. It's gonna bring a nice creaminess to the soup. Very nice. And then I have some cooked chicken breast. I just cooked it, diced it up, and I stored it in my freezer. Sometimes I do a large batch of it and just keep it in my freezer. Costco also has those convenient chicken breasts. Or you can just cook some real quick. Or, hey, lots of options here. If you want to make this a Crockpot meal, you can just dump it all in the crock pot and then like the chicken will cook. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a great idea if you're doing Crocktober and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna let this cook out. Just until the cheese is melted, like 5 minutes or so. Here it is, all complete. I did end up adding the little handful of the shredded cheese. I shredded some more for topping, which I'm sure everyone's going to want some more. And then I also cut up some cilantro and jalapeno. And I'm gonna take a taste test for you.
Oh yes, the creamy jalapeno soup. It's not, it's the enchilada soup. Listen, Alex, I don't know if he was trying to be funny. Every time he took a bite, because I had extra jalapenos, he would literally put a slice of jalapeno on his spoon and then a bite of the soup. And he's like, this is so spicy. I'm like, oh, I wonder why. Anyway, this was fantastic. Another home run, another hit. So many. Who doesn't like a good soup with a ton of flavor? Oh my goodness, you have to garnish it with some cilantro. It just brings it to the next level. And then I did have some of those tortilla strips that I just get from the salad aisle in the grocery store, and it was a banger. Try it out. I'm cooking some chicken in the soup that I'm about to make. And I just drizzled the pan with olive oil, seasoned it with salt, pepper, Italian seasoning. And I'm gonna let it get nice and brown, and I'm doing it in the pan that I'm making the soup in. And so all the drippings stay in here and add the flavor. So they're looking so good and juicy and thick. So while the chicken is cooking, I'm going to get started on my mirepoix. It's the first time, I mean, a whole week of soups, and this is the first time I think we've had onion, celery, carrot combo. Which goes to tell you that this is gonna probably be the best one, just kidding. It is a lemon chicken orzo soup. Sounds delicious. I've heard people say that this is one of their favorite soups for years. Not this particular recipe, but just in general, the chicken orzo lemon mixture. I assume because it has fresh citrus, and if you add that to any dish, it's gonna elevate it. So I'm going to start off with dicing up some celery. It calls for 2 cups, which I'm totally here for. Because sometimes they're like, 2 stalks. I'm like, really? Why even add it, you know? Nice crunchy celery. I just slide my knife down the middle to make more manageable pieces and then dice it up. I really just bought this for buffalo chicken dip, football Sunday. But I suppose I can sacrifice some for the soup. I'm gonna dice up an onion. I'm gonna be more mindful when cutting this onion because the enchilada soup had all kinds of weird onion slices. Then I'm gonna slice up 2 cups of carrots. I'm trying to do as thin of a slice as possible just so it'll cook evenly with the onions and celery. And I cut it at kind of an angle to get a really fancy slice right there. I mean, it's just a cordon bleu exclusive. A couple carrots should fare just fine here. Okay, good enough. We've got the trifecta. Let's head to the stove. I'm gonna take the chicken out here. I'm gonna let it rest on the cutting board before I cut into it, just so the juices kind of stay intact. Hopefully it's done. I'm kind of notorious for undercooking my meat. I'm gonna throw in here a 1/4 cup of butter. Ooh, and I have all those chicken drippings down there. So much flavor, a little bit extra oil, but it'll be fine. To do that, I'm going to add the trio of it. This is a lot of veggies, which makes me excited. And of course, in goes the salt and pepper. Mix this up and let it cook down. And I'm gonna pop a lid on. I just think it'll cook a little faster that way. I'm gonna cut into this little beauty here. I mean, check her out. She's beauty and she's grace. And I do one right down the center to make sure, that it's cooked. It rarely happens, I'm not even gonna lie. So I'm just gonna dice this up. I have a sad amount of garlic I'm gonna throw in here. Just let that cook for a minute. And then a 1/4 cup of flour to make the roux. I'm just gonna cook the flour out for a couple of minutes. Did I overcook the veggies? They kind of look sloshy. All right, and then I'm going to add the chicken stock. Man, this stuff smells like Thanksgiving. It smells so good. Add this in, let this come to a boil, and then I'm gonna add the orzo. And here it is, 1 cup of orzo, having a good time. Let this cook. So the orzo, I think is pretty much cooked. I haven't checked it, but it's good enough. And I'm gonna add in the cooked chicken and the juice from a couple of lemons. It's gonna add such a brightness. I can do this one-handed, that'd be great. Gonna give this a mix and fin. Bon appetit. Let's serve it up. Oh wait, a little bit of Italian seasoning in here. Nice. Just to finish it off. May have been overkill. The delicious soup. This is gonna be a hearty good one. Speaking of my favorite soup of the week, this was it. This is it. Yes, it is. It had such a brightness with the lemon. It had such a heartiness with the orzo. It had such a lightness with the vegetables. I am going to tell, oh, and also a heartiness with the chicken. I mean, it touched on every layer, every point that I want out of a meal, out of a soup, out of a dish. Yes, it's fall. Yes, give it to me. Bowl after bowl. Everyone. This was a hit with absolutely everyone. Everyone had seconds. Everyone wanted more. And we were scraping the bowl. I thought, I should probably make some more because it was that great. If you're going to make one soup, I would recommend this one. Unless you don't like lemons and then leave it out. I don't know. It's not that strong. It has been a day and a half. I'm looking for my knife.
The noise of this is so obnoxious. Can you not? Maybe that's better. It doesn't even smell great. For dinner tonight, I'm making ham and white bean soup. I don't have my life together enough for this. Listen, the ham hocks were in my freezer. Forgot to take them out. So you're supposed to boil the ham hocks with water for 2 hours. What? You're also supposed to soak your beans, which I did buy a bag of beans for 2 hours. Oh look, there's my knife. Last place I looked. I bought a bag of beans. I'm not gonna soak it because I know better. I know that it takes more than 2 hours for beans to soak. Some people might be able to do it in the Instant Pot, but I'm telling you, I have never had luck soaking beans, even overnight. So I'm gonna go in with a couple of cans of white beans, and that's gonna be good enough for me. I also need 1 cup of diced celery, also an onion diced up, and some carrots. 2 pretty big carrots, but I've got 3 here, and then garlic. So I am going to get that sliced up while I debate what dessert I'm going to make tonight, because that's a whole other dilemma in and of itself, okay? I've got some people with allergies, some people requested a dessert, some people don't like, and by people I don't mean just my family, I mean, you know, we have people coming over just for fun. Some of them don't like certain things, would prefer certain other things. So I'm like, and at the end of the day, I think I'm just gonna make whatever I want. Because I'm the one cooking, you know? I'm gonna tell you something. Last time I made a ham and bean soup, it was probably the worst thing I've ever had. And so that's probably why it's taken me 4 years to try again. What's up with this carrot, bro? I like it. Did you know you can peel going up and down, back and forth like so? It's so satisfying. Anyway, that soup I made in the Instant Pot, literally 4 maybe more years ago. And I've had nightmares ever since. So fingers crossed about this one. I'm gonna quarter the carrot and then dice this up. Probably the same size pieces as the celery. Also calls for garlic, surprise, surprise. I'm literally using the entire clove because I need as much help as I can get when it comes to flavor with this ham soup, okay? All right, the ham hocks are still going and I've done a few other things. I'm gonna get these veggies cooking along just in a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to sprinkle on just a little bit of salt and pepper to season them and get these nice and softened up. Not too soft because they're gonna cook in the soup for quite a while, but just to get some flavor out of them, you know? All right, I've got a cup of garlic going in. I'm just going to mix that together. And while that cooks, I'm gonna check in on my ham hocks up in here, up in here. Honestly, they're looking kind of sad. I don't think the recipe calls for this, but I cut up some ham because I don't know how much meat is gonna come off of those hocks. Probably plenty. And then I'm gonna throw the veggies in here. But wait, there's more. I did 2 cans of beans. I felt like that was right. And yeah, I think that's it. Okay, let me reread. So I'm gonna go in with some herbes de Provence, or you know, Italian seasoning. And then I've got some salt and pepper to go along with it. Real fancy over here. I'm gonna mix this in and then let everything simmer until I wanna eat it. I'm very concerned. I'm gonna trust the process.
Listen, a lot of people raved about this soup. As you can tell by the tone of my voice, it was not my favorite. It tasted like a soup. It tastes like exactly like you would picture it. It's got ham. It is really hearty with the extra ham that I added in there. We had a couple other people come over and say, ooh, it was really good. That one was great. Yeah, okay, but it's like, you know, nothing special. You know, that's how I feel about it. It was good. The beans, the ham, the veggies, the broth. Okay. For me personally, I need a little more. One of my favorite soups is the bacon bean soup from Pioneer Woman. I've made it before. I'll try to link all of my soup recipes down below, like the videos that I've done. That is my absolute favorite. And this one just doesn't hold a candle to it. It was good. It was like, okay, if you don't know any better. But honestly, if you're going to make one with, you know, a ham or bacon / beans, I would go for the other one. But this one, I mean, it was good. It was okay, you know? Okay, I was going to make a fall dessert, but really, you guys know the only thing I want to eat are brownies. So I found the best brownies. I'm actually really excited to make these, more so than other brownies that I've made, because Alex just likes plain Jane brownies
but like ooey gooey and delicious. So that's what I'm gonna throw together. It is so dark outside. It's like 7 p.m. and we're about to like fall back. And when I say about, I don't think that happens until November. Man, I think it already gets dark way too early. But that just puts me even more in the mood for some brownies. So it starts out, I'm doubling the recipe, 10 tablespoons of butter, which is manageable. But if you're like, Kim, you're doing more than 10 tablespoons, I know. I got a lot of mouths to feed over here, okay? And mostly because we love brownies. More people than us are going to eat them, no worries. And I gotta prep breakfast, you know? Okay, so 10 tablespoons of butter. Next up is brown sugar. So it's a 1 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar. And I just shove it full and then pack it down. And that's like, you know, a cup, so that's good. This is a 1/3 cup measuring cup. I'm just gonna make it work. That's good enough. Baking is an art. Did you know that? I'm gonna throw this into the microwave, cook it up for 2 minutes, stirring every 30 seconds. I'm trying to do this fast before my kids like come out and interrupt me. I'm trying to get them in the oven and, you know, it should be like 5 minutes. I'm also trying to see if these measure up to the box Ghirardelli brownie mix because everyone knows those are superior. I feel like Joanna Gaines or someone fancier would be doing this on the stovetop. But I appreciate the quickness of a microwave. Also, 1 bowl wonder. Okay, this is looking amazing. And I suppose heating it up like that in the microwave is what's going to give it that nice crust on the top. All right, in goes 2 eggs. 0 shells. Whip that in pretty quickly since the butter and sugar mixture is hot. You kind of want to like, we have no time to temper, okay? 2 more since I'm doubling. I'm gonna whisk this pretty vigorously for a couple minutes. If I had, I should probably bring my hand mixer out, but it's like one less thing I want to wash, okay? I just got everything cleaned. My kitchen is looking tidy. Well, aside from this now. All right, I went a little hard there. I got it all over my hand. That's cool. Next, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of flour. And then I'm gonna throw some salt in here to enhance that chocolate flavor. A little espresso powder, that's what Ina Garden does. I'm gonna skip that step. My kids just don't enjoy it as much as I do. 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. I'm going in hard. I need to bust open another box. Oh, hold on. Here we go, looking good. And while I'm here, I'm gonna toss in just, a little bit of vanilla extract. Almost dropped the whole dang bottle in there. And just mix everything until it's combined. Oh, can you even pick that up? It went everywhere. Better be worth it. Okay, looking good. And then lastly, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. This is where the magic is. And you know, the batter always tastes better than the brownies or the cookies. I don't even care about it. Salmonella, I dare you, gotta take a taste test. See how it compares to the Ghirardelli. It gives it a run for its money. It's probably the most similar brownie mix I've ever tasted that tastes similar to Ghirardelli. Okay, well, let me get a prepared pan. I'm gonna try to figure out what dish to pour this in. This is typically what we use for a double batch of Ghirardelli. It's nice and thick and delicious. I'm just figuring out my life choices over here. All right, here's the magic. You know I'm gonna leave some batter out so I can scrape the bowl and eat the batter right before I do the dishes. That's my treat. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is it. I have my oven at 350. This might be my new favorite thing. Okay, in it goes. How long? Who knows?
Well, I knew it from the get-go. These actually are my new favorite thing. Out of life. Everything in life, this is it. These were so good, and I can't explain to you enough just how delicious that's the best thing I've ever made. Ever. And I will recreate them over and over again every Brownie Friday. What am I making? These. Beautiful, crisp top. How the thickness of it, the fudginess of it. These are my perfect brownies. So good. Everything about them is absolute perfection. I can't wait for you to try them. Simple ingredients, nothing crazy, just amazing. Much like every other dish that I made in this video, I hope it gave you some dinner inspiration for the week or for the season. Lots of great soup recipes here. And thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me. If you want to subscribe, put a little happy in your day, and I will see you next time. I'll also have some more soup recipes linked below. Bye.